Okay, welcome back. In the last video, we talked about support and resistance. We tried to define support and resistance as well as try to explain how support and resistance come into being on your chart and how to identify support and resistance. Now, excuse me, you don't necessarily have to draw the line all the time, but for a beginner, it is advisable that you draw the lines so that you can easily see them. Because another thing is, if you don't draw the line, you may not know which support and which resistance you are dealing with. Okay, and it's also advisable to use different colors for different support and resistance trend line as well. Very important. And also in support and resistance, I find the Renko chart. If you are using TradingView, if you are working on TradingView, I find the Renko chart very effective in drawing up your support and resistance. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to trade with trends, support and resistance, how to draw them for trade analysis. Okay, so now when you are drawing support and resistance, you want to start from a higher time frame. Okay, when you see TF, it's not the fork, it's time frame. Please, I know a lot of people are used to TF being sometimes in some group you will see something like WTF, and I know some of you want to interpret it as what the fuck, or what the hell, but that's not what it means. It means which time frame. Okay, you might see somebody say WTF. It simply means which time frame, so don't get it confused. Okay, so now if you are drawing support and resistance, you want to start from a higher time frame. Okay, depending on what kind of trader you turn out to be, either you are going to be a swing trader, a position trader, a day trader, or a scalper. We're going to talk about this later on, so you know the kind of trader that you end up being. But for now, understand how this works. Now, if you are trading on, let's say 30 minutes, for instance, now on the 30-minute chart, if your trades will be on the 30-minute chart, you want to start drawing doing your analysis from daily, and then 4 hours, and then 1 hour, and then down to your 30 minutes to trade. Okay, so what that means is this: if I want to draw support and resistance now for a 30 minutes, I will start on a higher time frame. I will draw my support and resistance for the high of daily and the low of daily. And then I will also draw my support and resistance for the high of 4 hours. Sorry, H4, not 4H. High of 4 hours and for the low of 4 hours. Okay, then I will now want to draw it for the high of 1 hour and for the low of 1 hour as well. Okay, now let's slide over to the MT4 platform quickly and see how to do that. Okay, now we're on the MT4 platform. We drew these two before. I'm going to remove them so that we can do a proper job. Sorry, I'm not taking a trade. Okay, so I'm going to look at daily. I look at my chart. I just shrink in the chart a little so I can see more of it. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to see all the chart. I think this detail is good enough. So I'm going to use the more consistent area on this chart right now. The more consistent area. Now this point here is a very good. This top here is a very good point to draw my support and resistance. So I would now to zoom into your screen like this, you just have to pinch the screen. Put your fingers together and close as if you are, how you zoom in on picture and zoom out on picture. It's the same thing on the MT4 chart. So you can just zoom out and zoom in using 2 fingers. So that is just for you to see more of the image. It will reduce the size of the candles, and it is different from changing time frame. Please take note of that. It's different from changing time frame. You are still working on the same time frame, but you are seeing more of the screen because you are zooming in. Now you don't have to see too much of the screen. In fact, this is good enough. I don't need to see beyond this. Okay, so if I want to draw the highs now for this time frame on this 4 daily time frame, I would simply just pick the highest point here and the lowest point that I can see. Can you see this lowest point and this highest point that I can see here? So I'm going to start with that. Bring in the lines. For horizontal line, drop at the resistance. The first one, you can put it at the tip of the candle, at the edge of the candle, and then bring in the resistance line again. I'm using gold now for daily. Bring in the resistance line again and drop it for the support as well. Okay, now this is where your chart type becomes relevant. Remember our topic on chart type, I said the line chart and the candlestick chart are the most popular ones, the one that most people use. Now, line chart mostly is used for this kind of analysis where you are drawing support and resistance, because some people are confused about whether to put their resistance and support at the end of the week like this, at the end of a week like this, at the end of the longest week like this, as in this case, or at the tip of the candle itself like this, as in the current case. Okay, so because of that, I would recommend switching to the line chart. So let me switch to line chart. If you switch to line chart now, you can see your support and resistance better. So all you need to do is just find the highest point that you can see on the chart and drop your candle and drop your line there. Don't worry about whether it's weak or whatever. It's not important. Okay, just drop it there. Can you see now? So it's easier to draw support and resistance using the line chart. But for seasoned traders like myself, I don't need to change to the line chart. But for a beginner, it will be easier for you if you just change to the line chart and draw your support and resistance using the line, of the line chart. Okay, now we have picked the resistance, the highest resistance and the highest support and the lowest support for the daily chart. We now change our time frame to 4 hours and then scroll back a little again and pick the highest and the lowest that you can find. Now, right now, the daily highest and lowest is still valid for 4 hours too. So I would not want to bring in another another lowest 4 hour. Instead, I'll only bring in the support. Now, for the 4 hour support, I want to use a different color. Okay, you don't want to use the same color. So all you need to do is just bring it in. Sorry. Cancel that. So bring in a horizontal line. And sorry, let me adjust that a little. And then change the color. Change the color to, let me use red. And click done. Now you know that red is for 4 hours, gold is for, or yellow, I don't know whether this is gold or yellow. Well, gold is for daily. Okay, so if I zoom back to daily now, I'll be able to see both the daily and the 4 hour support. Can you see that? Okay, so now after doing 4 hours, since we could not find another resistance for 4 hours, we only saw the support. I know this is also a resistance, but that is not the highest point. The highest point on 4 hours is the same place as where it is on daily, so there's no need to draw a new one. Okay, so one thing I would usually do if I was working on a system is just to change this one that has reflected on 2 time frame to a different color, as in a completely different color that I will be able to differentiate it. So usually I will change this to purple and increase the thickness. I'll change this to purple and increase the thickness a little so that I know that that one is representing 2 time frames, okay, both daily and 4 hours. Now I would come lower to 1 hour again, and on 1 hour I will find my support and resistance again. So right now I am seeing my resistance as this point. Can you see that? And I'm seeing my support as